Welcome to session 7, where you're going to learn how to use social proof for viral growth. And this is where you're going to learn how to create content that uses social proof to grow virally and exponentially. Now, first off, it's important to understand what viral marketing is. So if you go on Wikipedia, you'll see it says viral marketing uses pre-existing social networks to produce brand awareness. Big deal. Well, the big deal is that when you is like a virus, your marketing can be self-replicating. The good news about that is that your message spreads by itself, requiring little or no additional effort from you. So when you look at a chart on how exponential growth works and what it looks like, the red growth is just straight line growth. Straight line means every day you get 2 new fans and then another 2 and then another 2. It's just plus. Well, the blue line is when you start to get in exponential growth, and that's when you start to get viral growth kicking in. And so it's, in the first day, you may start out with 0 fans, and then the next day you get 10 times that number of fans, or March started out with 1 fan, you get 10 fans, and then you get 100, and then you get 1,000, and so on. And the green line is when you get really viral exponential growth. So it's important to understand that there's a component in this formula called social network potential. Social network potential represents the size of an individual's social network and their ability to influence that network. So the larger your Facebook page gets, the larger your reach. Now, we can't all be like Gary Vaynerchuk, and have 500,000 fans, or Ashton Kutcher with 10 million fans. They have huge social network potential. But the more responsive your page, the more influence you can have on your network and the larger your social network potential. This is great for authors, speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs. So our yoga Facebook page is the largest yoga Facebook page in the world. Now, I don't teach yoga. I don't own a yoga studio. I own a wellness center that we're building in Costa Rica that has a yoga component to it, but I wouldn't call myself a yoga entrepreneur per se. However, because I have the largest yoga Facebook page in the world, I have a very high social networking potential. That gives me a tremendous amount of influence in the yoga business world, in the yoga community. And this all comes back, it can start with, and the way that you can use this information to make it worth for you is starting off with something simply called social proof. Well, what's social proof? Well, here's a great example. So it's hard to see that this is a lunch place in New York where they sell hot dogs, but you can see that there's a line well out the door. What does that tell you about how good that food is? Doesn't matter what you think about hot dogs. What does it tell you about, does that place have good, high quality food? Well, there's a line out the door. Yeah, there's some reason there's a big line out the door. On the right-hand side, you can see that there's a crowd of literally thousands of people waiting in a huge line, probably to get into an event somewhere. Now, if you weren't planning on going to this event and you drove by, you might literally stop, pull over, if you were able to park there, and get in line because you'd ask, what's going on? Something's got to be really, really, really good to attract thousands and thousands of people. What do you know about this company and how good their products are? Well, very, very few companies that sell retail products, when they are selling a new product, have a crowd of people, 10,000 people lined up to come and buy your products. Well, wouldn't it be amazing if you could do that with your book? Wouldn't it be been amazing if you could have thousands and thousands of real fans who could end up becoming customers? And a great way to start with that is to give yourself some cost-effective social proof. So this is an example of cost-effective social proof. So we were able to, in under under 4 months, go from 0 likes on my Brett Gregory page to over 200,000 likes. And we did that with all paid advertising. Sometimes people ask me, hey, did you buy likes from those click farm places that I heard about? The answer is no, we never bought one like. but we did do Facebook advertising, legitimate Facebook advertising. So every single one of those likes came from Facebook ads. And they were about 3 cents per like using our global ad secret. Now, to be very, very, very clear, that does not equal customers. I don't have 255,000 customers. Um, what I do have a lot of though is social proof. So what does social proof do for you? Well, here's an example of our website, CostaRicaYoga.org. So on our website, CostaRicaYoga.org, we have, now we have 1.2 million likes because that's our yoga pages associated with this website. And it's very clear there's 150,000 websites at least that have information about Costa Rica yoga retreats, but there is only one that has 1.2 million likes. So what it does is it builds instant trust and credibility. Instant trust and credibility. So if you search all those websites that have Costa Rica yoga retreat information on it, none of them have anywhere near the amount of fans that we have. Just because of having 1.2 million fans, that gives us a tremendous amount of credibility and social proof. And people spend thousands and thousands of dollars a month booking Costa Rica yoga retreats through us and our website because we have the largest Facebook yoga page in the world. Here's another example. So our Costa Rica Yoga Retreat Center the website is CostaRicaWellness.com, and that is associated with our Costa Rica Facebook page, which now has 455,000 likes. And we drove targeted traffic from our Facebook page to this website, and we ended up doing 1.5 million in sales to our customers that we met on Facebook. And so that built us the instant credibility. Now, if you're from Canada or Europe or the US and you're looking to purchase real estate in a different foreign country, a lot of people are leery about that. There's a lot of people have heard stories of scams and all that kind of stuff. And it's really hard to get people to give you their email address and to trust you enough to know that you're legitimate and real if all they can see is your website. But if they see your website and they see that you have 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 likes or more, that builds instant credibility and can really help you market and sell your book. And the reason why this works is very interesting. So if you look up social proof on Wikipedia, it's a legitimate, real psychological phenomenon. And what Wikipedia says is it causes people to converge quickly upon a single choice. Well, what does that mean? People will look to the crowd because the crowd is perceived as being correct or especially knowledgeable. This is known as the herd mentality. So if you think about this, think of just a herd of animals. The herd of animals is more likely to find food. It's more likely to find water. The herd of animals is more likely to be able to ward off predators. So the herd tends to be perceived as correct. Well, there's actually some science behind this because this is actually true. So in the 1700s, a Swedish mathematician by the name of Jacob Bernoulli discovered something called the law of large numbers. And what he did is he took an experiment, and you can still do this experiment right now today, and it still works. He took a large barrel full of beans, and he had 100 people guess how many beans were in the barrel. And when he took the average of those 100 numbers, he found out that it was almost spot on to the exact correct number. That is the law of large numbers. And so it's actually mathematically proven that following the crowd is usually the best result. Not always, but usually. And then if you fast forward to the 1950s, Simon Ash did a famous experiment called the two lines experiment. And what he did is he had 7 people who were plants. So 7 people who were fake, essentially set up to this experiment, and 1 person who we were trying to figure out if this would work on the experiment. So there was a group of 8 people. 7 people were in on the plan. Number 8 didn't know anything about the plan. And what they did is they passed around a card with 2 lines on it. And one line was very, very clearly longer than the other. B was much longer than A. And he asked they would go around the first 7 people, they say, hey, which line is the shorter line? And everybody would incorrectly say B. And so they were intentionally doing this incorrectly. And when they got around to the eighth person would almost always give an incorrect answer as well, even though they could very clearly see that it was wrong. They could very clearly see that B was longer and A was shorter. They would give the incorrect answer. And what we found is that individuals are heavily swayed by the group's opinions. So this is not just about being susceptible to peer pressure. There's more to this story. And what we see is that there is a very powerful psychological power of the Facebook like. And the number of likes is a real big deal. A big deal for real. The more likes, comments, and shares and tags your content gets and your page gets, the more social proof you will have. The more proof you have, the more likes and viral actions you get, and the more it spreads virally, which can help you convert browsers into fans and can help you convert fans into customers. Remember, likes do not equal customers, but it can help you bridge that gap with social proof. So how do you find the most viral photos? Well, we want to look for photos that either have already gotten the most likes, or we want to post a bunch of photos on our Facebook page and look at the ones that get the most likes. So if you see a photo on your page, if you post a ton of photos, which is what I'm going to recommend you do, I want you to post 10 photos a day into your photo album stack, and you can do this in 5 minutes a day. And you look for the photos that get the most likes, or maybe you see a photo that gets hundreds or thousands of likes. That's the one that I want you to repost in your Facebook page. So some of these you might find on other pages in Facebook, and if you find them in other pages in Facebook, you have to ask permission to use them. But you can look for other photos and posts on your that your fans will like. And so whether they're inspirational or motivational, we want to find the ones that get the most likes. So here's an example in finding the right photo. So we posted these two photos on our yoga page. So the photo on the left is one of Jennifer Aniston, so you'd think it would do very well on our yoga page, but it only got 11 likes, 0 comments, and 0 shares. Poor Jennifer. So the photo on the right, these people aren't even doing yoga, they're doing acrobatics at Burning Man, and it got 3,424 likes. Why did the photo on the right do so much better? Well, it turns out that's the kind of photo that people like. And what I studied recently is a paper that was written by a professor of marketing at the Wharton School of Business. And she studied over 7,000 New York Times posts to try and see if she could figure out what was it that made some content go really viral. And what she discovered was really interesting. She discovered that the content that goes most viral almost always has a very high emotional charge. Well, what do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. So we posted these two photos on our yoga page. The photo on our bottom has a low emotional charge. Beautiful photo of a model in an outdoor setting. It got 124 likes. The photo on the top may not look like it has a high emotional charge until you learn the story that goes along with it. And the story is this man and his 18-year-old dog who's suffering from severe arthritis takes him on a short walk every day. And at the end of the walk, he takes the dog into Lake Michigan and the dog falls asleep peacefully in his arms. It was a highly emotionally charged story. When we first saw it on Facebook, it had over 1 million likes. When we shared it on our wall, it got 4,276 likes. It was a very highly charged emotional story. There's two parts to this, why this works though, and the next is something called valence. And what Professor Milkman discovered is that photos that have a highly positive emotional charge tend to also go very viral. And if you look up valence on Wikipedia, it says how negatively or positively emotionally charged your content is. So for example, the photo on the left connotes anger. And you can see when we posted this photo, it got 14 likes, no comments, and no shares. People don't like to share these kinds of negative content. But if you look at the photo on the right, it's this kid is laughing, his camel is cracking up, and got 4,485 likes, 163 comments, 476 shares. So the most viral content lives in this upper right hand quadrant. So the basic simple formula is a very positive emotion and a high emotional charge is the most viral content. Well, you can add a lot of emotion and positivity to all of your content simply by adding a positive quote from a famous author or a famous person. So here's a great example. This man loves his cow, and his cow clearly loves his man. And when we posted this photo with no comments, it got 27 likes, and that was it on a page with 455,000 fans. And then we posted it with this quote: "Whenever we manage to love without expectations, calculations, negotiations, we are indeed in heaven." And with the comments, it got 1,798 likes. So it didn't just go 10 times better. So I mean, you can literally have it go 100 times better. So quotes can add emotion and positivity for 10 times virality. So here's another example of a photo that we used, and when we shared it on our wall, it was written on there, this positive quote from Nelson Mandela: "Learn that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it." And then added this fitting quote from Martin Luther King Jr.: "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward." So that added a lot of positivity. And when we did that, it got 56 likes, 3 comments, 3 shares. And we posted this on our business page, on our Brett Gregory business page. So what does that have to do with business? Well, again, by being transparent and being positive, that helps us attract the right kind of customers that are perfect for our business. And what I want you to do is post the most viral photos. So when it's okay to share photos. So if you find a great photo that you want to share on your wall, that's totally fine. It's okay to share photos. Uh, but I also want you to download photos online, and I'm going to show you where to get the photos in just a minute. But I'm going to want you to download photos online and then upload them to your computer. Now, you can't just take anyone's photo without their permission. So you can't just go on Facebook and find the photos with the most likes and download it and upload it. If you find a great photo that you want to use, you can ask permission. It's totally easy. Or you can go and download photos from Flickr/Creative Commons. There's literally 600 million photos there that you can use, and you can use all of them. Sometimes you just need to give permission on it. You just need to follow the Creative Commons rules. But in this case, if you find a photo that has gotten hundreds or thousands or 100,000 likes, just ask permission to share that photo. People will usually give you permission. So here's an example. So my friend Rachel Brathen, she's got over 100,000 likes. She was a client and a good friend, and she's an amazing yogi. And she posts amazing yoga photos on her page. And this was an example where she did this photo, and it got 700 likes on her Facebook page. So I just wrote in there, "Hey, Rachel, awesome photo. Can I post this on my yoga page? Thank you, and you rock as usual." And she replied, "Yes, Brett Gregory, of course." So she gave me permission, and she gave me permission like 9, 8, 7, 6 hours later. So you can always ask people if you can download it. So I didn't share this photo. I asked her permission if I could download it and then upload it, and I posted it on our page. And that's a great way to do it. So remember, if you're going to download someone's photo and subsequently upload it, you want to ask. And it's customary to give them credit when you do so by tagging them in the photo. So here was that photo when we reshared it on our wall, or excuse me, I reposted it on our yoga wall. It got 829 likes, 111 shares, and 8 comments. And you can see there, I tagged her in the post. That's that first top red arrow. I tagged her in the post. So I gave her credit. And I also put in my own web URL down at the bottom. At the time, we were doubleyourlikesindays.com. That's not our web URL anymore. But down at the bottom, you can see there, 37,000 people saw this post. 0% paid. That was free. Why did that work? Because I found a photo that was proven. The photo is already a viral. There was no question whether or not it was going to go viral because it was already tested elsewhere. So, and I just asked permission, got it, and reposted it, and it worked great. I tagged, I gave Rachel credit. And she also got more action out of that. I'm sure there was, I don't know how many people clicked on her link, but plenty did. So these are simple steps that you can use to go and find viral photos. So if you first want to try finding viral photos on Facebook, you can do so. Click on the search bar on the top of your Facebook page and type in a keyword that your customers would search for. So maybe it's wellness, maybe it's holistic coaching, maybe it's whatever it is that you do. So look for those keywords. And I want you to go and find the top pages that have the most likes, so you can look on those pages and see what content is already getting the most likes. So here's a hint. So if you type in, let's say, wellness, for example, I want you to go and you can go and like the pages named wellness. Don't go and like a page named wellness that only has 2 or 3 fans. Like a page that has 100,000 or 1,000,000 fans. Like the top pages. And then scroll down on the photos of those pages and find the ones that get the most likes. And then ask permission if you can download those photos. So that is one simple way that you can first off look and see what kind of photos are doing the best. And then if you find one that has 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 likes, just ask permission. Hey, great photo. Would you mind if I share? Now, don't worry if they don't get back to you. Just keep trying and you'll find some people that will get back to you. Here's some alternative photo sources for you. You can go to wikimedia.org. You can Google royalty-free photos. You can Google free nature photos, free inspirational photos, free inspirational quote images. My new favorite place is to Google Flickr/Creative Commons. Flickr/Creative Commons. There's, I think I said 600 million. There's over 300 million photos that you can use in the Flickr Creative Commons. The point is that there's literally billions of photos that you are allowed to use, royalty-free photos that you have permission to just use. It's not somebody's intellectual property. You're allowed to use. If you're going to use a Creative Commons photo, just make sure you follow the Creative Commons rules. Sometimes they require you to give credit to the person who shared it. Sometimes they do not. Just follow the rules when you're there. But here's your exercise. So take out a sheet of paper. Find the photos that will make your page grow virally. So first question is, what other Facebook pages do your customers like? And I'm going to show you we're going to do a graph search example right after this. So what other Facebook pages do your customers like? Number 2, go on the Facebook search bar and search for your keyword that your customers would search for. Number 3, like 10 of those pages so that you will see their posts on your news feed. Remember, pick the top 10, the 10 largest pages and scroll down and see what information, look for the photos that get the most likes. If you find one that you think your customers are like that will fit well, you can ask permission to add that photo to your album. But if you don't get permission, don't worry. You're not going to probably get permission the very first time you try. You need to try 10 times before you find one that'll give you permission. Or just go right to Googling free viral photos or free inspirational photos or free nature photos or free photos, whatever kind of photos your customers will like, and download 9 and then upload them to an album on your page. Then you can share on your wall. And then in section number 8, we're going to show you how to use those photos in the photo album stack. So go ahead and do that right now, and we'll see you in the next session.